Hello, everyone. This is Raise Your Voice as part of the Fans First Sports Network. I am your host, Brett Rutherford, joined as always by my good friend and co-host, Darby Robinson. We are live on youtube.com/@RaiseYourVoice and also available wherever you get your podcasts. It is time for our big trade deadline preview. I was wondering, Darby, at what point during the week did we need to record this episode, fearing that we would record just before a big trade broke or we'd miss it or something would happen. But to this point, the activity has been relatively tame. We still have the weekend to get through, which is a little bit weird. All the GMs have to work through the weekend. There's no rest for the weary. But we haven't had a major trade yet. None of those big dominoes have fallen. I know you're really locked in on the Logan O'Hoppe and Chase Silseth deal.
That
probably have a lot of
this
thoughts.
is how desperate I am for anything to happen. Is that I like that trade for a non-top 30 prospect for Chase Silseth and Logan O'Hoppe? Well, I was like, oh, we got movement. We got movement here. We got a trade. Yeah, that's like that has been, I think, the only move this week, right? Like it's since the Curtis Mead trade. So Curtis Mead, that was this week. Who, by the way, we have to say, like his second at bat, first game with the Red Sox, gets hit on the hand, broken hand, which the Red Sox training staff said X-rays clear. And then the next day, he's like broken hand out 8 weeks. Which, like, I don't know what was clear about that X-ray. But yeah, that's it.
Interesting trade from a standpoint of, I think if you had, at the beginning of the season, if you had seen that the Red Sox would trade Connolly early for Curtis Mead, that would be
insane.
That would be insane. And so it's insane how much has changed over the last 4 months for Curtis Mead, who was having his breakout season with the Washington Nationals, and immediately gets thrown into a team that was red hot, chasing after the playoffs, and that was willing to trade a controllable starting pitcher, even though maybe he's not a front end starting pitcher. I think the agreement was that he was a major league starter with multiple years of control. That is pretty impressive.
And like in his brief major league time has actually been pretty good. Like he's shown some like good stuff. And I think, there is some folks that have like I think the initial reaction to the trade was like, what a Craig Breslow disaster, like another disaster class from old Be Easy over there. But like, I think when you dig in, it's like, okay, if you can buy, and Mead works so well with like the Green Monster, right? He's like a bull happy guy. I think like it's a good setup for him. I think it's still a really steep price to pay. And the biggest thing about this trade, I feel really bad for Curtis Mead, honestly, in this situation. Like he's had terrible luck. Like every time I feel like in his career early on until this year, like every time it's like just starting, something would happen. Like he'd get injured like before spring training, he'd be injured, like he never got the start. So of course, another fluke injury, right as he's getting this new start in a pennant race. I think the biggest thing about this trade, though, is that it sets the price, right? If Connolly early is the cost for like some could say platoon bat. I think he's been pretty good against right-handed pitching too. But like, no real defensive abilities from Curtis Mead. Like maybe a little bit better at second base where the Red Sox would play him. That's a pretty high price. So that really raises the ask, I think, for all of the like kind of premier free agent or premier trade targets.
I agree. I think it was an early shot across the bow of like this market. It is going to be really tough for teams. I think that's part of the reason we've seen a slow start. I do think the dam will break. It could be tomorrow. There's been some reports that like the Skubal trade is imminent. I don't buy that. That feels like something that could wait. It will happen on Sunday
Hassan
night or Monday morning, and then you'll see a
Hassan has
flurry
said
of pitcher deals.
Hassan. I mean, like he sometimes talks confidently, like just like because he's like the top dog, so like he can he fires from the hip sometimes.
Yeah,
But he did talk after the start, like he's like, Skubal will be traded. It will be in the next day or two. And then
yeah,
Friday, the dam will break for all the trades. So like those are like not like he didn't hedge any of that. And like there's no fault for being wrong, right? Like what are we gonna have to do? Like go back to Bob and Heyman and be like to get the table scraps from them. Like Jeff Passan knows, like he knows that like he's still the top dog in terms of the like bombs. But that is interesting that he like said like it's just going to happen, which it also lines up, right? He just made a start. You don't want him to be like too cold, and you want like as many starts as possible from Skubal because it is a rental, and you're about to whoever trades for him is going to give a king's ransom. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded in the next day or two, but I do think he is he's he's the Dutch boy holding the dam together. Like I think once he's gone, it's that like kind of sets because it's not just pitchers. I think it's like you're keeping your powder dry if that's an option for you, right? Like you have to keep all of your pieces for that. And then when that's off the table, now those pieces that were all going into that could now go into two different trades, and like there is a domino effect, and I think that's
yeah.
going to be the big piece.
I agree. So that's why it wouldn't shock me if tomorrow, maybe around midday, maybe tonight, is teams putting together their best and final offers,
Mm-hmm.
and then the
Mm-hmm.
Tigers sleep on it, and maybe around midday tomorrow we hear some news. Let's get into the Tarek Skubal of it all. Obviously, it is an interesting deadline for the Rays. They have the best record in the American League. They have a 3.5 game lead over the New York Yankees in the AL East. They have a budding superstar in Junior Caminero. They have a really good pitching staff that is maybe now more so begging for one more top end arm to take them into the postseason. Shane McClanahan leaves today's game early. It left mid back tightness. Wouldn't shock me if there's an IL stint involved. You probably need to control his innings anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime a pitcher's hurt and shut down for more than 2 weeks, though, there's always worries about their buildup, how long it's going to take. Things might linger. It gets them off of their normal routine. And so I'm not going to sit here and try to say that, like, this is an injury you shouldn't be worried about. I think anytime a pitcher's injured, you should be worried about it.
Especially, Shane, or like I
Yeah,
think like
no,
McClanahan and Rasmussen are two guys like this isn't an arm injury, so that's good. But like it's one of those things. It's fair. Like when those guys leave,
but
you're like holding your breath until
here's the
they're
thing.
able to come back.
It's all connected, right? The head bone's
Yeah.
connected to the neck bone. Like everything is connected. So like the back starts hurting, and then it's the neck, and then he changes how he pitches, and then it's the shoulder. Like that's why I'm shocked.
Yep.
It sounds like he was dealing with it throughout the game. They had Legumino warming in
Yeah.
the fourth. They let him go out there to start the
Mhm.
fourth, and then he comes out. So it's like,
And
I'm shocked
it was
that
one of
they
those
even let
things.
him.
Cash was out pretty quickly after that pitch. Like, I think it seemed like they were like looking and they were like watching. Yeah, it is a little wild. And like afterwards, McClanahan did sort of talk about how he was like, he was it was kind of like bothering him. He was trying to like pitch through it a little bit, and then he just kind of like gave up on it. And so like that's one thing, right? Like that's like its own like its own thing. But like I knew it wasn't going to be an arm injury because like if it's an arm injury, it's because like they wouldn't be letting him out there, right? Like
Yeah.
that, like you don't let somebody out there with an arm injury. But yeah, they all are connected, and you just the longer he's delayed, the scarier it gets.
Yeah. So I don't know if that puts the Rays in a better bargaining position. I think it does the opposite heading into this weekend when they were already looking for starting pitching, and now they might need it just a little bit more without teams. And the Rays are going to stay very, I think, mum about McClanahan's status, much like the Dodgers aren't really letting on about Shohei Ohtani's status as they pursue Tarek Skubal. And so let's really dig into the Tarek Skubal of it all. Obviously, 2-time reigning American League Cy Young, pending free agent for the Detroit Tigers. Is owed $32 million this year, so prorated. It's still a really big chunk of money. That prorated amount would even put him in the top few for the Rays' full season salary numbers. The Rays, along with the Brewers and the Dodgers, are kind of seen as one of the 3 teams that could pull a deal like this off. I tend to think there's a couple of other suitors. But Darby, let me just ask you this. Do you or does anyone seriously think that the Rays are going to successfully trade for Tarek Skubal?
I'll answer with a no.
Okay.
No. They're one of the few teams that I think those are the 3 teams that have the firepower to match what the Tigers are asking for.
Yeah.
But 2 of those teams are smart enough and resource strapped enough to know that that's a Pyrrhic victory winning Skubal there. Yeah, maybe it works out right there. I've seen some people talk about how it's you got to push your chips, you got to go all in. This is the opportunity. You get Skubal, you can win the World Series, and it's yeah, maybe. The alternative is you lose 2-0 in Skubal's 1 playoff start, and you're out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where one of the reasons why the Dodgers are so dangerous and why we were on the precipice of such a big and bloody CBA fight. This is a bad situation that baseball is in, where one team is smart enough to be able to consistently acquire talent through the draft, through international free agency, through trades, and then also have infinite budgets that the Brewers and Rays, they can spend more. Both of them can spend more. Sure. They cannot spend at the Guggenheim Group's level. They just can't. And so the Dodgers could trade. They could make an offer. The Dodgers have the farm system that they could basically blow the Brewers and Rays offer completely out of the water.
Yeah.
Even if the Brewers offered Jesus Mate, which they've already said he is not on it. He is completely off the table. 0% chance. Only besides him, even if the Rays offered Theo Gillen, the Dodgers could offer 2 top 20 guys. They could offer 3. They could do whatever. And you know what? They could do that. They could just be I don't care. It doesn't matter.
And Skubal,
we don't have room for him.
He could sign with the Cubs after this season. And the Dodgers will move on like nothing happened. Maybe with a third straight World Series in tow.
And that's the thing where it's yes, if the Rays did go all in for Skubal, I guess here's my question now. Now my question for you. You see the Twitter breaking, Jeff Passan, Rays win Skubal sweepstakes. No details yet. Is your first feeling good? Happy? Or is there a dread there?
No, the first feeling is absolutely euphoric. The first feeling, because we've been doing this podcast for a few years, and this time of year where I spend probably an unhealthy amount of time on Twitter. I've got the tweet alerts on. I'm reading things. I'm trying to read the tea leaves. And the Rays have made some pretty big trades in the last, 6-7 years. They've been in the mix for Shohei Ohtani, Craig Kimbrel, and Chris Bryant when they were, closer to the primes of their careers. Some other really big names that I've been waiting on that tweet to say they finally did it. They were finally the bride and not the bridesmaid. And again, I'm not saying that that's the right baseball decision. It's probably not. But if the Rays pull it off, in this moment right now that we're going through in baseball where it feels inevitable like we are headed to some sort of work stoppage. How much that will impact 2027 season, I don't know, but we are headed towards this inevitability. And you've got the Dodgers over here, which is kind of the root of all evil, and the Rays and the Brewers, the two small market teams that could, in this like fight over Tarek Skubal. And if the Rays win that fight, I don't know. There would be something I think special about that. I think Pete the country would unite around the Rays if they landed Tarek Skubal.
Maybe, maybe, maybe not New York or Boston, but
No,
maybe the rest of the league. Um, I get that. I absolutely get that. And I can even understand the idea of like look at top 10 prospect lists from like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and like 8 out of those guys are never did anything, right? They washed out way before. Like baseball progress is extremely difficult, right? Like your top 5 prospects, if you go back down the years, most of them don't succeed, right? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but a lot of them don't. So I get that. However, I'd be like kind of heart in my throat until I saw the details because I do think I think if this team was like that one pitcher away, I think that's a totally different thing. But I have seen too many postseasons with this franchise go out like the Cleveland series, like the Texas Rangers series, where it's like you just want somebody that can swing. And I think there's also a very big difference. Excuse me. If Skubal isn't the first trade, and like when all the dust settles, and it's like the Rays come away with Skubal and like we're not gonna spoiler, but like Adley Rushman and like a second baseman, like right, like if at the end of the day you've basically depleted the farm and you've gotten like some impact with and Scubal's the prize, the ultimate like grand prize, that's a little something else. But I would be very nervous if like this lineup is ultimately the same. And shout out to Cedric Mullins. I think he's been unfairly maligned. Hit the game-winning home run today.
yeah,
But like if Cedric Mullins is still your cleanup hitter in a postseason game,
that's an abject failure.
it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I think you have to if you were to do Scooble, you have to go at that point. Just it's all give it all away.
So yeah, if you're gonna really go for it, then yeah, you have to really go for it. And I agree with you that Scooble, while he does make a major difference, does he put you over the mark against a fully healthy Yankees team in a postseason series where they've got pitchers to match too? I mean, they've got an incredible staff, and they have Aaron Judge, one of the best
Mhm.
hitters ever. So
If they have Aaron Judge,
if they have Aaron Judge, which
that is
fair,
that is a question mark, but
fair
but
enough.
but no, like I think you also even look at like somebody like Boston, right? Like I think like they still have a long way to go to get to the postseason, but like if some of the they got there's guys get healthy, there's a kind of a fearsome and they get some pitching that could be pretty dangerous. You look at
Yeah,
Texas, like the Rangers, like
Degrom.
the Rangers and the Rays, like you could go DeGrom. The Rays missed Nathan Eovaldi, but we know he's a huge postseason pitcher. Like even the Mariners, right? Like the Mariners have had a really rough go of it, but like they're gonna have to buy, and their top end pitching is really good. And so, listen, I would love a Scooble trade. However, I think there is like, can you do enough to win 2 more trades after Scooble to be able to give the team that you need to have? Or is there some other options that can raise that floor of pitching? Because they do need to add innings. They need to add starting. And I would like to see them add a guy that could get the ball in a postseason series. Just maybe not game 1, like Skubal. Maybe it's game 4.
Yeah. The the thing is I don't see a deal being done here without Theo Gillen. And I understand how much the Rays value him, and I think they have every right to value him that much. He is not the level of prospect like a Jesus Mate, where the Brewers can say you're just not getting Jesus Mate, and the Tigers have to kind of live with it. I think the Tigers can hold the Rays' feet to the fire, especially with the other suitors, and say, yeah, I mean, you don't have like a number one prospect in all baseball type talent. If we're going to trade you Tarik Skubal, we need Theo Gillen. And
Sure.
so for that,
it's a fair ask.
Right, 100%. And like where Mate,
it's a fair ask today, and we'll see if it gets closer to Monday. Like Tigers need to trade Skubal. They need to trade him. Like they blew a game after Skubal left. Like that team, I still think the Tigers are an unfortunate team. Like I think their luck has been very poor, but there's a certain point we're too late in the season for it just to be luck. So I do think like they can still compete this year, but they need to trade Skubal. Like it would devastate. They would be a Paramanesian Angels level blunder to let Skubal walk for free. You should have probably signed him long term, but like that doesn't matter. It's that boat is sailed. He's gone. Like I think you have to trade him. And so like, yeah, if everybody balks, maybe you take a different package. But I think it's absolutely a fair price to say, I need to come away with at least your team's number one, plus probably two more pieces.
Yeah, at least, yeah. No, and maybe I think the Tigers are going to want big league talent, at least one big league ready piece that's going to help them compete. I think for the Rays, if we're looking at a Gillen-led package, it would be, Ian Seymour. Or I think that probably makes the most sense for the Tigers. You could mention, I don't know, a Johnny DeLuca in there as somebody that might get some more playing time. I have to look a little more closely.
They got Max Clark now.
Oh yeah, they do have Max Clark.
I don't know if they have room with Max Clark's necklaces to fit another person in there.
Yeah, so their outfield left to right, Riley Green, and then it'll be Max Clark, and then Zach McKinstry's been playing a lot of right field. Matt Vierling has been playing some right field. So I don't know if DeLuca moves it for him, but Ian Seymour probably more value to them at this point.
I think they probably ask Gillen, Seymour, and then like Fueling or Bodine.
I think it would be Gillen, Seymour, Fueling, and then one more piece.
Maybe smaller level. Yeah.
Yeah. Like could be
Brailer Guerrero.
Yeah. Or like Trey Morgan or Gary Gilhill type of prospect.
Xavier Isaac.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah.
So I don't know. The only reason, and they're not really named as kind of one of the favorites to land him, but that doesn't mean anything right now. The only reason I would feel a little more compelled for the Rays to go after him is if the Yankees were in play.
Yeah. The Yankees do have a couple of pieces, but like the problem with the Yankees is they really don't have a great farm system. They have like Lombard, and then like do you still like these other guys?
Right. Dominguez.
Do you still like Volpe? Do you still like Dominguez?
No, the Yankees are
it's a lot
in a
of hope.
Weird spot.
It's a lot of Andujar and Frazier. I'm getting a lot of Andujar and Frazier vibes from Yankee fans because every trade it's like Lombard and Dominguez, Lombard and like Joe. It's like
Jones.
It's Jones and Lombard. It's like I get it. You're doing your two prospects to get you anything, but also it only gets you one thing probably. Like I don't know if you can get.
They have a prospect named Cade Smith, so someone might think that that's Guardians closer.
The other, Smith. Yeah, or Cade Anderson. Maybe they're like, maybe that's Cade Anderson of the Mariners.
Yeah.
Am I getting him? Am I getting which Cade? Just say Cade and then just mumble it, and maybe Cashman can get lucky. And they're like, A lot of good Cades in baseball. Maybe it's one of them. We don't have the internet here. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we're just gonna have to take them by. That's how so many trades happened back in the day. They were just like a fax, like they just like fudged, on a fax, and we're like, I took it.
You had to take someone's word for like what their stats were.
Yeah.
What's he batting? Oh, like
600 feet home run the other day. It just sailed. So yeah, I think the Yankees and Red Sox not really being in the Skubal hunt. Like, I mean, realistically, I do think so. Okay, put a cap on Skubal. Where does he land? Who gets him? Who wins him? Dodgers. Yeah, I know. It sucks. I hate it. It's the only answer. Like, I can't. Like, it's one of those things where like the Dodgers don't even like they don't even need him, but they're like, but why not? Like,
although they might need him.
Get him.
They might need him. They have no healthy pitchers. They do
kind of need him. Like, they have used as much of Jason Robleski as they could possibly. Like, he has really given him a lot. Blake Snell, maybe he'll pitch eventually.
He could be.
Wasn't he supposed to be out a month? Wasn't he supposed to be out a month? And then he is coming back. But like, he was supposed to be out like a month. I say as an angry fantasy owner in like 2 leagues, because it was like early season. I was like, it's just, we're just gonna
It's the Dodgers, and they play by different rules than everybody. They're not rushing anybody back because they don't need to. It's
regular season doesn't matter. It's a glorified exhibition. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be the Dodgers.
He's Dodgers.
DePaula
okay.
And DePaula and
Zaire Hope.
Guys, yeah, get it done. I do want to get into the rest of it, and since we're on the pitchers, so when the Rays miss out on Skubal, okay, so I'm gonna just go through some names here. Reed Detmers, he's got 2 years of control after this year. Left-handed pitcher with the Angels, moved back into back into a starting role from the bullpen a year ago. Has looked pretty effective. Has had an up and down career with the Angels. Besides the no-hitter he threw against the Rays earlier in his career, but I think you're a Detmers fan, Darby.
Love Detmers. Yeah, I think outside of, I'd say Soriano, I think I would really love from the Angels as well. But Detmers, I think there's some shopping to be done there at the Angels. Like, Detmers would be a great get. He's a guy I comfortably slot into a postseason start easily. And like, I think he's right there, like maybe like a tier below McClanahan and Rasmussen in terms of just raw stuff. But like, in terms of performance, like he's been very, very good. And he's been good long enough that it's like for real. So Detmers, I really, really like. Soriano, I like as the raw stuff is really there. You kind of need to do a little bit more of like some Rays magic, because it's not every start is that. But like, I really like that potential there. But like, Detmers or Soriano, that'd be a good get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like either one of those. I prefer Detmers a little bit more, but I like Soriano a good bit as well. Both very similar amount of money owed. Detmers making $2.6 million this year, Soriano 2.9, so very affordable. Both have 2 more additional years of control. I think it would be a good idea for the Angels to trade one, if not both of these guys, because now is a little early. But if you're the Angels, you're not going to be good before they're in their last year of control or after that.
And I think the biggest thing now with the Angels is that John Mozeliak is running that team, who has had a lot of success in Major League Baseball, running organizations, former Cardinals GM. Yeah. And like, it feels like there's a bit more of a sanity return to the Angels that they have not had. And you still have Artie Moreno lurking.
Yeah, people are getting mad about Mozeliak for the trade they made, the Silseth and Ohapi trade, where they got like some no-name prospect from the Angels. And I'm like, guys, he's clearing house. He's getting rid of the bad players. Why are you holding on to Logan Ohapi? Who cares?
Chase you had to trade Silseth. You had to trade Silseth, who is fine, to dump Ohapi, who has been like, I at one point I liked Ohapi, but like,
he's the worst player in baseball.
There's a certain level. Like, he's gotten significantly worse every year. at offense, at defense, at everything. And like maybe it's like
Yeah.
he does need to change of scenery, but like
You're right. I would have. I
he
mean,
was
the
awful. He
Rays. It
was
wouldn't have shocked me if the Rays had traded for him. And maybe they will
it
in the
wouldn't have.
offseason.
Maybe, but yeah,
Okay.
I think that was that was a big trade where people had strong opinions, and I'm like, who cares? None of these people are good. Who cares about
Yeah.
this? Nobody
Casey
should have an opinion
Mize.
about this trade.
Yeah, no, I agree. Casey Mize is another rental, $6.2 million on his deal, so he's only owed a couple more million for the last couple months of the season. I think like if you're trading Skubal, there's no reason to hold on to Mize. I think you can get a decent little return for Mize, who
Yeah.
has really, I think, found his groove as a major league starter. Definitely a guy I think you'd be comfortable giving the ball to in a playoff game. And this is a guy that makes a lot of sense for the Rays.
Yeah, I've liked Mize. I also like his just like comeback. Like he was a former bigger level prospect who kind of had a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks, and he's been pretty solid. Like I think he's somebody. I also think Mize is right there in that price range where the Rays really want to shop, and not saying like, oh, he's cheap. It's like the Rays have about 20 Rule 5 eligible prospects who are in that like 10 to like 45 organizational range that are like decent prospects that could be higher in other people's systems, but like you're not going to be able to keep them all, right? Like when it comes to like protection, you're probably going to keep maybe 3, 4 max. So like there's a lot of Rule 5 guys. You mentioned like Gary Gilhill, Trey Morgan, Xavier Isaac. Like these are decent prospects. Like Trey Morgan's come back, it's played pretty well. They don't really have room here at this point. So like those guys, or like higher level, like Santiago Suarez, Jackson Bowmeister, like there's some guys here that like really could be something. And why not for the Tigers take a package that you like from that? Or why not for the Rays? Add a guy like Mize who can give you innings, who gives you really solid pitching. Like kind of almost like you're, raising another like Nick Anderson, or not Nick Anderson, not another Nick Anderson. Although he was pretty good for that one.
He was good.
But another Nick Martinez, like another guy who's contact suppression, like good little bushel of pitches, like kind of get into that like range where, and Mize, not like a savvy veteran like Martinez, but like he's been around the block a time or two. He's been around and been baseball, and I think he could like slide right in really well. So I like Mize. I would be happy with a Mize pickup.
Yeah, I agree. Freddie Peralta, $8 million pending free agent, so a few million here at the end of the season. Has not had a good 2026 with the Mets. The question is do you have enough time with him and your staff to try to rekindle what he has lost this year? Because I think you see a guy like Freddie Peralta where a year or two ago I think would have been great in the Rays. Now I'm less convinced that he is going to be that guy. But the Rays, that it's never scared the Rays away before.
Peralta's an interesting one for me. I do believe that like there's something there. I don't believe he's completely turned into a pumpkin. I also think he has been very durable. He's an innings guy, and he's a great clubhouse guy. Like those are big things. Like the Rays do like clubhouse guys. They like pitchers who have the tinker, and he does do that. And I do think it's notable. Like Milwaukee's been like kind of sniffing around, being like, "We'll take him back." And again, like I think there's maybe some industry thought that like the Mets kind of mess everything up, and so like maybe try to get him off of the Mets, and like you can be like he will just revert right back to what he's been for his career. Before this weird season. I'm a little worried about like price. And I think that's one of those things where it's like, can you trade for Freddie Peralta and then trade him for like far less than you traded? You're going to have to, right? You're going to have to recoup something if you're the Mets, but like how much stomach do they have for that?
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
think if you price him at like where he should be and you don't budge, then like I want no part of that. I would rather take like a Mize or Detmers.
Or another
But
guy on the
if you have a
Mets, Clay Holmes.
who feels like the industry is really hotter on, like it, like he has
This seems
been,
like
the
the
market is
Rays
there.
trade to beat all Rays trades. He's recovering from injury. He is making 13 million this year. Has a $12 million player option for 2027. I think it's got like a $1 or $2 million buyout. Um, so you're not only getting a pitcher for this year, but potentially for next. You could not pick up the option. You could trade him in the offseason. It feels like a choose your own adventure that the Rays are really into in a pitcher like Clay Holmes. We know they've been scouting him, so have a ton of other teams. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there might be several suitors, but this feels like a Rays trade.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Holmes would be a really really nice pickup. Um, I he also the changeup is the thing that like makes me the most interested. Right, he's been experimenting with a kick change. The Rays have been heavy changeup pitching this year. Like that has been like the pitch du jour for the Rays in 2026. I mean, it's been a pretty popular pitch for everybody, but like the Rays have definitely, that's like in the arsenal
Mm-hmm.
for like pretty much every one of their pitchers, right? Like, I mean, that's like led Ian Seymour's like resurgence as well. So I would say Holmes fits really perfectly with what the Rays want in pitching. I kind of am curious how priced out he will be. I have a sense that like his market is sizzling hot, like
Yeah.
hotter than I think we might think. So for the right price, I would definitely be in. But I think Holmes is, I've liked Holmes for a while. Like
Yeah.
I think he's been a really interesting. Yeah, I kind of wanted the Rays, like it wasn't going to really happen, but I kind of wanted the Rays to get him when he was converting, you know, from
Mm-hmm.
reliever to starter. And so I definitely think there's a lot there. It's just really price dependent on me on that one.
Yeah. Next guy, another rental, Kevin Gosman, with the Blue Jays making big money this year, $23 million. Probably one of the most reliable rentals out there in terms of his big league pedigree, his success, his longevity. A lot of salary to cover for the last 2 months. Maybe the Blue Jays step in, or maybe the price is a little bit lower because of that. But seems about as safe of a bet there could be. It sounds like talks have picked up between the Phillies and the Blue Jays about Gosman. I, I think that might be a better fit, and the Rays might lose out to a team like the Phillies here. But if they're even pursuing Gosman, because I do think whether that be the money or what you need to give up to get him, it might get into uncomfy territory for the Rays.
In division's always tricky. Um, it's not impossible at all, but like it does make it a little more complicated. There's a premium there. I really like Gosman though. Like it is tough. It's like it's money. So if the ownership, you know, the new guys want to sign off on it, I'm down. I Gosman is probably it's interesting. Like the floor is a little bit lower, I think, than Clay Holmes or like Reed Detmers. However, I really like what he would bring. Like again, that's very much another Nick Martinez. That's another one of these guys who's been around baseball for a long time. He's been in a lot of clubhouses. He's been in postseason. Like he's a guy that I think you would feel really comfortable adding to that group to like eat innings, give you some good like battle. And I he's one of my favorite of the rentals, but in division and that cost, like I don't know about that premium. I do think that's the thing that like knocks that off. But I would love to get Gosman. If he was on like the Royals right now, I would be all about it. I would be like, that is who the Rays are gonna get.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's in Toronto.
So that
And
does make things interesting.
yeah.
The next name I want to talk about, Emerson Hancock, a pitcher who's still on league minimum salary. Arbitration does not start for him until the 2028 season, so he has one more year at or around league minimum. I'm still not 100% sure that the Mariners would trade him. You might have a little bit more insight there. And I think if they do trade him, they're looking for some other types of big league talent. I think the Marlins might be like more of a fit for Emerson Hancock, where you could swap some big league players. And hey, listen, not to say that the Rays couldn't get involved there and make it a 3-team trade.
That's what I'm saying.
Eric's like, without me, you guys are doing that. What's going on? What happened?
Get them all in there. Yeah, no, Jerry Dipoto, Pete Bendix, and Eric Neander walk into a bar. And yeah, there's some stuff happening. Hancock's good. Hancock's really, really good. There's like a little chatter about like how he's like a T-Mobile merchant. You know, he needs the marine layer. He does pitch better at home, but
he could be a Trop merchant.
He's like a road. I was about to say, like that, you know, the Trop is also pretty friendly, and like his road numbers are not that bad, right? It's like a 2.0 ERA at home and a 3.5 on the road. So it's like,
all right, I don't know. That makes me think that the Mariners are going to want to keep him, or at least could have a really hefty price tag on him.
So the Mariners are in an interesting spot where they have to buy. They have to buy. The current team is not good enough, but it's also too good to like not do anything. And they did do a lot of buying last year, and they did do a lot of deadline moves. They kind of pushed them over the top, and the division's right there for them. Like they absolutely can take it. They've been uncertain to trade their pitching, and now it's to the point where they're going to try to trade Castillo for anything they can get, and have to eat a lot of salary, and nobody really wants it. Hancock is like probably the guy that they are most willing to trade of the young guys. So he's the guy that I think is their best trade chip. But like Jerry Dipoto has kind of balked on trading pitching to the point where now it kind of bit them this year with a lot of this piggybacking that has been really weird and awkward, and like the players have not really had great buy-in from it. And it's one of those things where like it's kind of turned into a mess of like, too much good stuff. I think they should probably trade Emerson Hancock. Not that I think he's a very good pitcher, and I would love for the Rays to be in there. I just don't know if the Rays have the I don't know if the Rays have the major league talent. That's where I think you're right with like the Marlins or maybe even like the Red Sox. Like, is there enough major league talent plus prospects that you can line up for Hancock? But yeah, maybe a 3-teamer. That could be something there. Like I think like there is some good major league talent out there that the Mariners need to get for Hancock. They need to use him to upgrade that offense. And the Rays don't really have that. Like they don't really have the pieces there for that. Like they could trade him to DeLuca, right? I think like DeLuca could work over there, be a big upgrade over like Victor Robles.
What about Chandler Simpson?
But like Chandler Simpson could be that's not a bad option there. I mean, he's been really, really hot lately. Very, very fun guy there. I don't know. I think like there's maybe, but then it's like the Rays now then have to do a couple more moves, which is again, it's very Raysy that they would, do a trade where they're
going to make multiple
major league talent and then make these other trades. So maybe I can see that.
The Rays are going to make no less than 3 trades.
Victor Mesa Jr. for Victor Mesa Jr. and Nathan Flewelling as like the starting point. And then your hodgepodge of Rule 5ers that the Mariners want. Like, I don't know. The Mariners are in a spot where like Hancock, like they could call up their own Cade at any moment. The former 2nd overall pick, like he's ready to go. Like he is absolutely dominating. But like there's no space for him, right? They're like running 6 deep in the major league level. So I could see Hancock moving, but they need major league talent back, and I just don't know if the Rays line up well there. But I would love Emerson Hancock on the Rays. That's a guy that like when we talk about like Theo Gillen, like I don't know if I'm ready to give him up for Hancock, but like that makes me intrigued, right? Like that's the type of move where like you're getting a pitcher who could be like a 2 or a 3 for you for the next 5 years.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. It seems unlikely to me, but fun to dream about. Another one that seems unlikely to me.
Feels like an
Sandy
off season.
Alcantara.
Feels like an off season trade.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Sandy Alcantara. I don't think the Marlins are going to trade him. They've got him under contract for one more year. It's a club option for $21 million next year. He's got a $2 million buyout. I think Passan's already reporting that the Marlins don't plan on moving him. So I don't know if there's much more to say on him. Robbie Ray is another pending free agent. I think the Rays would want the Giants to eat a good chunk of his remaining contract in exchange for any of their decent prospects. I'm not opposed to it. Former Cy Young Award winner, I think, has found some success. I don't think it would take much to get him. So maybe this is one that falls into the Rays' lap as a possibility. Any thoughts on Ray?
Yeah, maybe. Like, I think there's something there, and I think for cheap, that's an interesting move. I almost kind of would like that to be if you're making 2 pitching, like if you're like Casey Mize and Robbie Ray, and you're like, let's really solidify this rotation. Getting 2 versus like 1 better one, but
yeah. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I agree. I'm not crazy about Robbie Ray.
Can I throw a
throw a name?
Oh, can I throw a different and no longer Bay Area, up the road a little bit, Sacramento, other lefty. What about a Jeffrey Springs reunion?
I'm not opposed to it. I don't know.
Can't be much, right? He's had an awful year. Absolutely. Bottom 5 ERA in Major League Baseball. Get him out of the ballpark, right? We saw what happened in a minor league park last year with the Rays, right? Like great, like good pitchers just like serving up, meatballs. He's not in a major league ballpark. Get him out of there. Get him back to the Trop. Get him for dirt cheap. I don't know if that's like we addressed our pitching. That's our one pitching move, but like, I would not hate that. I would kind of like that.
Like, look at the swingmen they have in there now. Like, you're running Chris Roycroft out there. Like, he doesn't have to be. He could be a spot starter. He could be there's so many different roles he can pitch out of.
He's done that before. That's my like. That's yeah, exactly. He's like a 1 time through or 2 times through guy. Like, I don't know. Springs, bring him home. Bring him home. # bring him home.
Just because I like the guy, I agree with you there. Dustin May, another rental again. Like, I don't know. It's going to be really. I don't know if these deals are going to be after the Skubal deal, and then the market, like a bunch of teams that missed out on Skubal. How hungry are they going to be for pitching upgrades? I just don't know what the market for some of these rental pitchers that are on high salaries is going to be. And so it's hard for me to say whether or not the Rays should be in the mix for any of these guys, because I know what the market is going to kind of settle around for Skubal, some of the other top end guys. Like, I just don't know what like the Robbie Rays and the Dustin Mays of this world are going to get. That feels like, I don't know, it could happen like right at the deadline. Oh, the Rays made one more trade. They got Dustin May from the Cardinals.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a little Adrian Hauser type, right? Like a better Adrian Hauser, where you're just like, we need one more pitcher. I wouldn't mind Dustin May. I think he's had some good postseason. Like, he has postseason experience, like a lot of it, and he's been pitching pretty well this year. Like, I've always been kind of lukewarm on him as a player, because I always feel like his stuff was better than like his results, or it should have led to better results, I guess. And then he was kind of overrated. Now he's kind of a little underrated, but I still don't really love him. Yeah. It would be a fine move, but I'd be very whelmed. I would be not overwhelmed. I'd definitely be not super underwhelmed, but it would be whelmed.
Michael Wacha, the next one, he's got 2 more years on his deal, scheduled to make $14 million next year, and then he's got a $14 million club option for 2028. I just don't know if the rate, like if Wacha was a rental, I think they might be all over him. I just don't know if they're interested in picking up a guy like that that's owed $14 million for next year.
Unless you're like, okay, we're probably not going to be able to re-sign Nick Martinez, so he just becomes your Nick Martinez for next year. like, yeah, no, I agree though. It's like I think why would you want to spend more for Waka, or would you just take a Robbie Ray or a Dustin May instead? Like you're getting pretty much around similar production, but like for a rental. Like Robbie Ray is too expensive, maybe, but like yeah, like a Dustin May or Casey Mize, like one
Yeah.
of those guys. You're like, yeah, we're getting it's all in the same price range, but like this guy is owed an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Another guy that has got years of on it left on his deal, Hunter Green, whose name has picked up in trade talks today,
Well,
trade
that's
rumors today.
interesting.
8.3 this year, 15.3 next, 16.3 in 2028, and a $21 million club option for 2029 with a $2 million buyout. Health issues have plagued Hunter Green for most of his career, but when healthy, one of the most electric starting pitchers in the game. I don't know if the Reds and the Rays have come together on like a big deal before. I don't know if they would be good trade partners right now, but
Reds have kind of notoriously been like one of the most annoying teams to try to trade with because they set astronomically high prices for every offer, and that's very frustrating for a lot of teams. But here's the thing: Hunter Green is interesting because like had Alexi Ramirez. The season and the Rays win almost single-handedly on Alexi Ramirez's bat and glove, then the Rays have the number 2 pick instead of the number 4 pick, and maybe they take Hunter Green. So like it's a weird full circle coalescing moment. Green is electric factory when he's pitching. The injuries, like do you just like double like triple stack it, right? And be like, all right, we have Rasmussen, we have McClanahan. All right, let's have Green. Like that's a three-headed monster that also could all have their arms just helicopter right off of their body at any moment. And will you pay the high price tag that it will take to get him? Green would be really interesting though. That's a real out of nowhere swing that would be really kind of fun. But I don't buy it there just because the Reds are notoriously hard to trade with, and Green is justifiably a high price in trade, but also carries like a significant amount of risk.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like this is a deal that is for the Rays to make. I think if you were in a position where you were going to trade really good, younger, controllable talent, I think like the Red Sox are probably in a better shape. I hope he doesn't go to the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would make them a lot stronger. But that it just doesn't feel like the Rays are kind of like they don't have much like big league talent to trade from. Ian Seymour, Johnny DeLuca are the names that like come to mind. I don't know like if that's moving the needle for teams, but like the Red Sox, the Red Sox have names. Obviously, they traded Connolly early. The Rays don't have like a AAA pitcher that like is just getting blocked right now. Brody Hopkins has proven himself.
Brody Hopkins though is the guy that like internals could say like there's like one tweak away from being DeGrom. So like I do think like that's a piece that like
that's a big tweak though.
Well, it is. It's throw strikes. He throws strikes. He's like one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's got the Nuke LaLoosh problem. Just get Kevin Costner right there,
and he's in Durham.
And he's in Durham. I mean, it's Durham, Bull Durham too. Let's go. I think with Hopkins is an interesting trade bait because it's like I think a lot of teams would want Brody Hopkins. I think if the Rays were willing to trade Brody Hopkins, immediately those teams would not want Brody Hopkins because they're like, wait, if they're trading him, I don't like that. It's like Schrodinger's trade prospect, right? It's like if he's available, I'm nervous about why he's available, but I really want him if he's not available because you got to just like play the twist my arm type of thing. Any more pitchers you got? Any more in there?
Foster Griffin was the last one I wanted to talk about. I don't know.
Do you buy the recent talk about the Nats and like him trying to like work out an extension?
Yeah, but I don't
That
think he
feels
wants
like
an
leverage.
extension. I think he wants to go to the market.
Yeah,
He's
I
come
would.
back and he's proven himself. I
At
don't
this
know.
point, like even if you liked Washington, like I don't know, see what's out there.
You can make a lot of money somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know. I like
He
him.
feels very Raisy. I mean, that feels very
Mhm.
Raisy, right? Like I think that lines up really well. The Nats are in a weird. I think they're in the perfect range for what the Rays can have because they're like not fully competing, but they're like a year away or 2 years away. So like they have some pieces that could absolutely line up.
But the way the Nationals are run now, these are not the Nationals of yesteryear. I mean, very different front
But they're
office.
also offering up CJ Abrams and James Wood. So like what does that mean? Are they trying to
Are
are
they
they
though?
now
Are they
pushing it
offering
out?
up? No, I mean, are they? I don't think they're offering up James Wood. I think CJ Abrams is out there as let's
Yeah.
just see if we get a Godfather offer, right? Like
Yeah. No, but I mean like I feel
until he's a
like
Yankee on Monday morning.
there's too much smoke with them. I don't think that either moves, but like the fact that there's any smoke is kind of wild and
I don't
probably
know.
shouldn't.
I don't know. I mean, you always listen to trade offers, right? If you get one for Abrams, you got to
You
listen.
you listen, but you don't it doesn't come out. Like I'm sure the Rays will listen on even Junior, right? Like, all right,
I
what
don't
do
know if
you
they would. Yeah, what do you got to
like,
say?
yeah, listen. What do you got to
You've
say?
got
I'm
10
curious.
seconds.
Like I'm fascinated what offer you can put together. But like let's see it, right? Like,
I mean, the Rays put one
you
together for
know.
Ohtani, including Junior.
Still don't know if that's ever real. I honestly, that's been repeated enough, and enough people have said it. But like, it feels like something the Angels made up, but it makes the Angels look terrible. So it's like the type of lie that like makes you look way worse if it's true. So you almost have
Yeah.
to like you should be pretending that never happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, we spent nearly an hour on the pitchers. I kind of just want to run through the position players. Maybe we'll focus on the big ones.
I think there's a smaller pool though. I think it's an interesting. Like I think there's so many pitchers available, but like position players this is the hardest part, and I think this is also why the market's been really slow. Is that every team is still involved, and so the cost for anybody in the position side is really high. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's run through them. Zach Neto, making 4.2 million, has 3 years of arbitration remaining. Doesn't grade out well defensively at shortstop. The bat has
No.
certainly played. The question is he a second baseman moving forward? What do you do with him defensively? And with those question marks about his entire profile, there's not a perfect offensive profile either. Is it worth the
A
price
lot of
to acquire?
chase, a lot of whiff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a
Doesn't
profile that ages
fit.
well.
No. He has a weird profile. It works for him. It's one of those profiles though that's like most players that are doing what he's doing. If you look at the bubbles on Baseball Savant, which is probably shouldn't look at the bubbles. It's probably a dangerous thing. But if you do, like the players that have similar makeup are usually pretty bad. Like those players maybe flash for a season and are really bad after. I think the issue here though is that like Neto's played well enough for long enough that like I don't think you can just like say like he's going to turn into a pumpkin. But like, good friend of the show and D Ray's Bay's own Cole Mitchum, like he had a hot take, not even like I don't think a hugely hot take, like a warm take about how like he's kind of out on Neto, like on the cost to acquire versus that makeup, and I kind of agree. I kind of agree. Like I like Neto a lot, but I think the problem is what I would pay, what I would in a trade is not what the Angels are going to want. Yeah. Right? Like I think the Angels are going to say it has to start with Dillon and Bodine, and then we're going to add some more. And I don't think the Rays go for that because
Yeah,
he hits like everything that the Rays like. He's the opposite, right? He's not good defensively. He is not a shortstop on the Rays. Like he would never beat out Taylor Walls at shortstop. He'd be second base, right? And like that could be good, but like he's not a shortstop. He chases a ton, which the Rays have tried to eliminate. He strikes out a lot, which the Rays have tried to eliminate. Um, it's a different profile, so if you're looking for that, that's there. But like, I don't know if the Rays go all in. Even though how about this? If CJ Abrams, we mentioned CJ Abrams, and we're in that like young shortstop controlled, that's probably not a shortstop because they're a butcher in the field and maybe they're a second baseman,
or center
or
fielder.
maybe an outfielder. Yeah, yeah, the old O'Neill Cruz method.
Oh,
If you have a
maybe
package
an
for Zach
insider.
Neto, if you have a package for Zach Neto, why don't you just add more and try for CJ Abrams, the better
Sure.
Zach Neto?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And again, it depends on who's willing to play ball. I don't
I
know. I
think
mean,
Neto's being
Neto has
price
3 years
enforced.
left. Yeah,
I think the
and
Rays
I
are
just
price
don't
enforcing
know.
Neto.
I don't know what Mozeliak. I'm curious because there's uncertainty about what his future with the organization is, or if he's more of
Yeah.
a caretaker GM. Like, I don't know what powers he has to trade players like Neto who have 3 more years of team control. So again, I'm just not sure what the status of these guys are.
Is he getting prices for the offseason?
Maybe that's very
That
possible.
that could be
Um,
that's my think.
a guy who I'm almost positive will be traded though is Luis Arias, a rental second baseman. Defensive numbers have taken a complete 180. A guy that was thought to be a butcher in the field, and Arias has done well, graded out well defensively at second base. Some of these I'm a little skeptical, especially when it's a 180. Like Luis Arias, where now he is a well above average second baseman, and obviously an incredibly talented on base guy, singles machine, batting title winner, no power. It, I don't know. It screams like what the Rays have been trying to do this year. I don't. Luis Arias from like a strict like on base percentage, WRC plus production standpoint does improve the Rays lineup. But what we talked about earlier is Cedric Mullins being your cleanup hitter. And so like Luis
Mhm.
Arias is not the guy that like, okay, so what is he like? He's not another power bat to add into the meat of the order where you can shift things around. He definitely helps, but is he like the
It's like
key
more of the
piece the
same.
Rays are looking
Yeah.
for? Yeah, better,
I
better. It's the same profile. He
I
is
don't
better than Richie
think
Palacios, like
100%.
clear
Oh yeah.
upgrade.
And if you buy the defensive upgrade, that's like really great. Like that's a pretty good player right there. But like I don't know if the Rays buy the defensive, like
I
that.
don't buy the upgrade. So, and
I don't
again, like
either. I don't
second,
believe
I
it.
don't know if it matters. I don't know if it matters. Like it's second base for 2 months. Well, how many
Right.
balls are
And
going to
like,
not turn into outs? Like,
no, it's true. Like it's true. Like I think a rise is it's honestly it's like a smaller version of the Zach Neto thing in the sense that like I don't believe um how do I want to say this? Like I don't think the price tag for Luis Ariz is something the Rays want to pay. Like I think there's enough teams because he's a rental, especially there is enough teams out there that are like, sure, I'll toss it in. Why not?
yeah,
Like why not? Like Luis Ariz, just toss him on as a bat. Like the Rays, like if the asking price, and I also don't know what Buster Posey's going to ask. The guy's so far over his skis. Who knows? He does. I don't know what he's going to do. He's like a complete. I don't know what he's doing in his job. So like, he could be asking for Gillen. Like he could be asking for Bodine. Like I don't know. Like this should be a package of like interesting prospects, but are like not your top three, um, at least on the Rays system. And yet, I don't know. I don't think Luis Ariz has been mocked to the Rays in this cycle far too much for me to believe that's ever going to happen. Like the Rays almost never do the thing that like everybody's like, they're definitely going to do this. Like I just do not believe that. Everybody's mocking it. I would be surprised. I know. Here's the thing. There's a lot of prices for Luis Ariz that I would be very comfortable paying, and would be very happy I'm very happy to upgrade second base. But I just don't think the Rays see that as their main option.
There hasn't been a whole lot of smoke about Arias in recent days. Obviously, everything is kind of floating around the Skubal market and some of the other starting pitchers that I feel like the position player market has kind of been neglected. That might be one of the trades that breaks the dam. Maybe tonight, like I keep refreshing Twitter to see if tonight.
I was about to say, are we going to get a
like late night, 5 nights before or 4 nights before the deadline? That feels like when you get like the deal that's like, oh, it's officially deadline season. We got the appetizer, the Curtis Mead Connolly early appetizer. But now it's like, all right, start bringing out some of the other courses. Okay, so let's jump around. Like, name an infielder. Is there an infielder that I haven't named yet that you think could be a good fit?
Okay, so you mentioned Gausman, you mentioned Toronto. Don't know if he's available, but Ernie Clement feels like a Ray. Like, that is a guy who feels so much like a Ray. I know we're just chasing the high of Joey Wendell forever, but like, I need that fix. I need that Wendell fix. I need to feel like I felt back then. Now, weirdly enough, Ernie Clement has been a butcher in the field this year out of nowhere. He's been like one of the best defensive infielders, and especially at second base. This year, he's been weirdly terrible. I think that feels like a lot of noise. Like, I could see the Rays looking at Ariz being like, I don't buy that, and then looking at Clement defense and be like, I don't buy that either. Like, I don't think he is like a bad defensive player. So I really do think Ernie Clement is a perfect kind of trade target for this team. Like, a perfect type of guy. Is he available though from Toronto? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he has control. Like, he still has another year of control. Feels like a guy that would be kind of slot in really perfectly on this team.
I agree. A great clubhouse fit. Went to the World Series a year ago. His defense, his metrics have taken a hit this year, even though he's been graded out really well at second base throughout his career. I would love Clement. But I don't know if it's going to happen. Jeremy Pena, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know how motivated the Astros are going to be. You might have to pay more than you want. The Marlins.
If it goes for as much as Mark DeRosa, if it goes for as much as Mark DeRosa said, Roman Anthony and plus, oh my God, no, if he goes for that, then I'm out for a rental.
The Marlins middle infield, like, again, maybe if there was like some big trade with like another controllable, like Emerson Hancock going the other way. I don't think that's likely, but I wouldn't put it past Bendix, and I wouldn't put it past another team to hop in there. I don't know if it'll end up on the Rays.
Would love Otto Lopez.
I would love Xavier Edwards.
I mean, either one. Yeah. I mean, either one, but like Otto Lopez in particular, that would be a dream.
Otto Lopez is like a dark horse, like NL MVP candidate this year.
He really is. It's like, it would be, he's going to get like fifth in the MVP votes, and everyone's going to be like, what?
He's second in wins above replacement for the position players. 4.5 wins above replacement.
I went all in on him on like WRC plus. On 2 of my fantasy leagues. I went way too high to get him, and he's just, he's rewarded me handsomely.
329 batting average. He's battling with that pesky Luis Arias, whose slugging percentage is 40 points lower, but he's got him edged out by 2 points in batting average right now. So Xavier Edwards would be another really fun player. One other name, we don't spend too much time on him. I think if you're just looking for like, this is not going to blow your socks off, but Michael Massey, second baseman for the Royals, left-handed hitter, plays pretty good defense, can swing it a little bit. I think he's better than Palacios. I do think the Rays need to make an upgrade at second base. And
they do.
It's not going to be Carson Williams. Maybe it's Braden Taylor, who's like finally putting together in Double-A for the Rays, or for the Biscuits. Is that a late season call up? I don't know if you're banking on that. I think you need to make a trade.
I don't love,
to bring somebody in.
That's the problem. That's the thing. Like, I would love to see it, but like, if that like there's enough options to upgrade that like I don't want that to be your main call as a double
Yeah.
A prospect to like save you. But yeah, Michael Massey, like something like that would be like I think you just raise the floor, right? Like Gavin Lux, he tried to do that, didn't work out, injured all the time. I would say like come away from the deadline with something that can raise the floor. And if you can try to take a big swing and like address second base like full on, like great. But I don't, I could if you can't, then like at least get that. Or like I don't know, like there's some options out there. Like Massey, I like that's that type of range where you're like nothing too expensive, kind of right in that range. Kind of love it.
Yeah. Can I say a trade? I think actually think the Rays will make this one. We're moving into the outfield now.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think they finally get Lars Nootbaar.
Oh, my white whale.
Yeah.
I've been mocking him to the Rays for probably his whole career.
If there's one player that's maybe put a knock on this to make it not happen, would be Victor Mesa Jr., who's like the heart and soul of the team right now. But I wonder if the Rays decide
game-saving catch today.
Yeah, I wonder if the Rays decide maybe Chandler Simpson moves into more of a bench role. Maybe he bounces around the outfield. Nootbaar's a guy that won't play every day. You probably wouldn't start him against every lefty. But does add pop to your lineup, is another left-handed bat, and can play left field for you tomorrow.
And this is going to sound crazy for me, especially, and I'm a huge.
You're the Lars Nootbaar fan.
I am. Here's the thing that's going to sound crazy. Like, is he even an upgrade right now?
Like
he is
Chandler?
No, he isn't. Not since the All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, Chandler Simpson has been an absolute electric factory. He's been at like a 780 OPS. He's been crushing it in like 150 plate appearances so far. It is. I will say I have been slandering Chandler Simpson, and I want to publicly apologize because he was hurt. He was clearly hurt. He was playing through it. I don't know why the Rays were doing it. That was clearly happening. But like since the All-Star break, he has been, not even since the All-Star break, I should say before the All-Star break. It's been since like July they started. Like he has been weirdly great. Like him and Victor Mesa Jr. have been like carrying the offense on the left-hand side of the things.
Yeah.
The issue with the Rays offense. Here's the issue with the Rays outfield. Because here's the thing. If there's that tweet that says like Lars Nootbaar coming to the Rays, I'm gonna celebrate, man. I'm gonna just dance in the streets because I do love Lars Nootbaar. Might just get a jersey. I love him. I don't know if any player I've loved more than his outcome. But that is like my type of player because I also stand for like Brad Miller and Michael Zunino, and so like I don't know, maybe I just like a guy that's like could be great. The Rays outfield's in a weird spot where like I feel like it's upgradable, but it's very hard to upgrade. Do you believe that Chandler Simpson can hit like this well? Do you believe Victor Mesa Jr. can hit this well? Cedric Mullins is your vet, and like it's really hard to like send him to the bench or trade him like on a team that's 20 games above 500, and he's like one of your core veteran leaders, right? Like he's not been great, but he's been better than his first month. But like he's still kind of like he's not a guy that you want for your cleanup hitter, but like you can't really bench him. Then on the other side of the thing, it's Johnny DeLuca and Ryan Vilade, who have been playing really well, but in like smaller platoon roles. And then look at what Jacob Melton's doing in Durham. He is just like blistering the ball. But like I don't see, Rays fans are like, it's time to call him up. For who? Who does he replace? Like I know you're going to say like, not you, like I know the Rays fans are going to say Cedric Mullins, but like teams that are in first place that have won 20 games don't bench like one of like their core leaders. Right. Like it sucks. I hate it. It's very old school baseball But like, you don't do it. Like that has ripple effects. Like I would love if Cedric Mullins was like a bench bat, like Cliff Lee, Eric Hinsky, like slow down a step, pinch hit, play a little bit, like, veteran leader type of thing. But like Cedric Mullins still been really good defensively. So like, I don't know. Because I was looking at this, and so like Nootbaar's one. The other guy that I think I could also see the Rays getting, it doesn't really have a good fit, but the Rays have already had him once before. I thought they were going to try to sign him in the offseason. Instead, they went with Vilade. He is the most reviled Seattle Mariner right now. Every Mariner fan hates this guy with a passion of 1,000 suns. And that's Rob Refsnyder. Second to Aaron Judge is the best lefty hitter in all of baseball over the last like 4 years. He's been awful this year. Like he has been abysmally bad. However, I don't believe that's his true talent. And T-Mobile Park out here in Seattle is it's a nightmare for hitters. So what do you think about a Rob Refsnyder for like dirt cheap, right? This is a very, very cheap trade. This is like the Logan Hoppy type of trade here. But what about Refsnyder?
So who does he replace on the roster for you?
I don't know. That's the problem. This outfield is he's just a different flavor of
your bench outfielders are DeLuca and Vilade.
He's not better than them. I don't know. That's the problem. This is the problem. I want him to be a fit, but it's like this. It's so Rob Refsnyder, right? He can't really play second base anymore. Ryan Vilade can't really play second base, although he played a really good snag at first. If Ryan Vilade could play second base, that would solve a whole lot of things for this team.
Yeah.
If Jonathan Aranda could play second base, if anybody can play second base on this team, because there's outfielders to get. Anybody else in the outfield, like we need to raise the floor. We need to raise the floor significantly because the way Victor Mesa Jr. is playing, offense and defense, the way Cedric Mullins is playing, solid enough offense. The defense has been very, very good in center field. And Chandler Simpson's been hot in the last month, and the defense has still been top-notch. He's probably going to win a Gold Glove in left field. So
Chandler Simpson,
how do we upgrade this? He might win a Gold Glove.
I guess I don't know enough about the Gold Glove race.
He'll probably win it, and it's probably for the wrong reasons. Whatever the reasons are. Like,
but I think there's an algorithm for the Gold Glove. It's like
I know they have gone a little bit.
I don't know how, but it's like it's based on DRS and OAA and something else, and then there's also voting.
Yeah, it does yeah. So I miss the days when it was just give it to Derek Jeter because he hits 25 bombs.
Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
Taylor Walls
our base. That's our baseball.
Taylor Walls has no chance of beating Bobby Witt for it this year.
No. Or any year.
And Bobby Witt's
here on out.
So don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that Bobby Witt's not deserving. But Taylor Walls has no chance of winning the Gold Glove. It has nothing to do with their defense. Okay, JJ Bleday. I'm just going to throw some names out here, and then I want to move on to the catchers. O'Neal Cruz is a name I think you and I talked a lot about last year.
Now
he's hurt. Could be would be a bigger deal, but the Pirates are also like right in the thick of things. They're above 500. I don't know. I think they would be looking for a big league piece, and you're not. Yeah. You don't have the big league pieces that you don't have the big league depth to trade from. You don't have a guy that's blocked except for DeLuca, but we're talking about getting O'Neal Cruz here. So I just don't think that's a matches for the
would you trade, I mean, Theo Gillen, he's not a major leaguer, but like,
I mean, how much
that's a guy.
But Cruz has got what left? I mean,
how many years left is he on?
Cruz is an ARB1. He has 2 years remaining after this. He is a career 104 WRC plus. This year, 123 WRC plus, although he has been hurt. But like a 472 slug, like highest slugging percentage of his career. He had 14 home runs before the injury and 21 stolen bases, but a 34.6% strikeout rate. So a very different profile. I do think he adds the offensive pop that you're looking for that you've been
Yeah.
lacking. But again, I'm not trading Theo Gillen for like a guy that's had injury issues and you're not really sure how good defensively he is, and he's only got 2 years left. I don't think that's the type of trade you're going to make. And he's dealing with metacarpal fractures. What is that? Fingers?
Metacarpal. Yes. Yeah. Meta is fingers.
Okay. How's that healing? How the medicals come back? I don't know. It just doesn't seem.
Yeah.
Maybe an offseason trade, not a trade deadline.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the catchers, and then kind of wrap it up here with some reliever rapid fire.
This is where there's like clear, like second base and catcher is like where there's like the clear glaring upgrade needs.
Yeah. Who do you want to
catch? And not necessarily then? Fortes. I mean, I wanted Shea Langoliers till he tore his till he got injured. I mean, here's the thing: Drew Rasmussen, Brian Baker were both trying their best to pitch the Rays to their old battery mate from college or from Baltimore in Adley Rutschman. Baltimore and the Rays have hooked up on trades just this offseason. Pretty big trade. Does Baltimore want a few pieces of that trade back for Adley Rutschman? Do they be like, actually, Slater DeBron, let's keep trading them. Let's make sure Slater DeBron is just constantly back and forth. I don't know. Like, what about Adley Rutschman would be like kind of a major get?
Oh, 100%. I mean, former number 1 overall pick, has been good. Like, he's been hurt this year. He's got 1 year left. The Orioles probably need to think about moving on. They've got their next catcher. This core, like, you've had Gunnar Henderson underperform this year. This was supposed to be a big year for the Orioles, and they have just...
Jordan Westberg's been hurt the whole year.
So maybe you think about
Jackson Holliday's been a bust.
Maybe you trade Jackson Holliday. I don't know. There's a name that maybe the Rays could take a shot at Jackson Holliday, another former number 1 overall pick.
That would be fascinating.
Rutschman would be really cool. I actually do think that there would be interest. I don't know if the Orioles have interest in trading him in division.
In division's tough. And this is something that that is interesting, is that the 3 most catcher needy teams are all in the same division with Baltimore.
And the best catcher not named Hunter Goodman is also in the division.
Right. So it's like it makes an awkward spot. The Rays, though, have, they traded Shane Baz, but a lot more years of control in division. I mean, they did get a sweetheart deal, so like it's hard to say no to that. Adley Rutschman is somebody who, because of that extra year, if you end up keeping Bodine or Flua, I think you have to keep one. I think Bodine is somebody that like could be the starting catcher next year. There's a real possibility of that. But like if you keep Bodine, like he's then your starting catcher the year after. I have no idea how to price Adley Rutschman. Like it's such a high premium plus in-division premium that like the price might be astronomical. But I'm really intrigued by it. Hunter Goodman, I'm sure the price is astronomical. I mean, all the reports are that it's Arias from Boston or Gillen from the Rays, like have to be in the trade. Which, I mean, sure, that's a fine ask. I don't know if the Rays like Goodman that much. And it's weird to say because his offense is great. The Red Sox might. The Rays really like defense.
The Yankees probably like him that much too, but they don't have the package to get him.
Lombard and Jason Dominguez. But they've already offered that to 8 other teams for 8 other players, so they're going to have to find a way. No, I think Goodman doesn't really make sense for the Rays because, like, I don't think they like him defensively enough. And there is questions about like how much does Coors Field affect that offense, which is fair. His road numbers have been pretty darn good. So I don't think he's like a Coors merchant or anything like that. But like it's a fair question, right? Like we have seen this time and time again be a problem for some players. Um, Another name I want to throw out there is because the Rays, like, they didn't have him, but there was like for like a good 30 minutes, there was Twitter confirmation that the Rays were getting this player before eventually going to the Marlins in the Rule 5, and that's Liam Hicks.
Mm.
So like there was a point where the Rays were going to get Liam Hicks because like in the Rule 5, because they like were gonna trade, was it Nate Lavender or Mike Vassell or something? I don't know. It's a weird like Rule 5 cluster, shift around. And in that, Mike Vassell and Liam Hicks both have been very good. So those are, two Rule 5 guys that disprove you know, my complete flippancy with the Rule 5, but that won't affect me because I will still be flippant this offseason. So count on it. Count on it, viewers. I'm going to be flipping again. But Liam Hicks, what do we think about basically the ex Miami Marlins catching battery duo? Just Nick Fortes and Liam Hicks.
Hicks, I'm interested in. I think the cost is going to be too high for what I think he is moving forward. I don't love his profile. It's pull the ball in the air and try to get some home runs out of it. He doesn't hit the ball super hard. He doesn't swing hard. Defense, I think, is fine. It's okay. Is he your frontline guy? I kind of really like Nick Fortes right now. So I'm kind of like, unless you're going to get Rutschman, I'm like, I don't really want anyone else. I want another backup.
But you need somebody better than Hunter Fiducia.
So, like, but does that Liam Hicks? Like, are you trading? Are you paying the price for Liam Hicks, who's got 5 more years of control?
Yeah.
To play 40% of your games or less?
No. That is a tricky part. That is a really tricky part. Is that you're basically saying like you want a 50-50 split.
Okay, but who do you 55-45 to this point?
That feels painful because every 45 is hell on earth every time. Like this week in particular is like the exact opposite of what Nick Fortes has been doing. Is like Nick Fortes has been a man alive for the last 2 weeks before the deadline, and Hunter Fiducia is like finding new and creative ways to like mess up in every game that he's playing. It's really remarkable. He did have like one of the closest challenges that probably will ever happen in ABS history today, where he got a strike where a whisper of the baseball, like one seam hit the zone for a K. So that was pretty good.
I was gonna say Keibert Ruiz. I did not realize he was extended into the 2030s.
Yeah, that was a weird extension. That was the previous administration. Can't be held against.
Yeah, I don't know. Freddie Fermin, not a good hitter.
He's pretty awful. But like he does. I feel like the Rays have been linked to him before, so I can see that. Mitch Garver, he's a terrible catcher. He can hit though, and he's too bad of a catcher.
Yeah. Do you call the Mets and say what does it take to get Francisco Alvarez?
No, you ask what it takes to get Luis Torrens.
Oh,
there's your answer.
Much cheaper, I'm sure. And not that Alvarez
defense,
yeah,
very very good defensively. I think here's the thing the Rays have to think about for catching, and I think you kind of nailed it though. Like I think Hicks is like there is something there, but like I think you do have to think about this. Hayden Bodine, if you're the Rays, where does he really rank? How much do you love him? Are you like, this guy is going to be our starting catcher next year? Like, that is the hope, that he keeps progressing this year to get to that level. And he is not untouchable, but like, there's no realistic trade that he is getting involved in. And so what I need is like Nick Fortes and then like something better than Hunter Fiducia as your backup. Or are you like Caden Bodine, like the profile, like he's tearing up the minors, but like that profile is not going to be that great in the majors. So let's use him as a trade chip, and then like let's try to get Francisco Alvarez or Liam Hicks or Adley Rushman, and like have like an answer for this year, next year, that type of thing. That I think is the thing this deadline will probably tell us. But like I don't think we know right now, like where he stands. Because like Caden Bodine is either like a guy that you are using as a trade instead of Theo Gillen, or he's kind of off the table and you're shopping at a lower end.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting.
But
There might be a name that we
Torrens
haven't thought of.
Torrens is like the guy, I think, shout out to Jason Collette, because he has been on Luis Torrens for, I don't know, all season. I feel like he's been calling for Torrens all season. And like, I didn't really think about it too much, but like, more that kind of dug under the hood. I'm like, he's having a really good year. Like the defense is there. The bat's been pretty solid. Like lefty. So like he kind of pairs really nicely with Fortes. Like that would just be like that perfect, clear upgrade
Right.
that raises the floor of this team that like, I would love that. Like, I think that's like Adley Rushman is the like, hell yeah, let's go. Like that just locked us in. Uh, but I think like Shea Langoliers is the guy that I feel like you trade like a bunch for, because now that's your catcher for the next 3 years, or longer, and you extend him. Um, Adley Rushman is like, he's a short term answer, right? He's a big upgrade, big upgrade, but like
You could go for an extension there too.
totally. I mean, that's the other thing too. This is also something, and I think you brought this up as we're kind of coming to the end of our trade deadline. That is like a big thing. And you brought this up in Slack a little while ago, and I want to have it, kind of have you kind of make the case here. Is we have no idea how the Rays will react in this situation. We have new owners, and we don't know how much money they are offering to spend in this. Eric Neander has never been in this situation quite like this before. He's had good teams at the deadline. He's had competitive teams at the deadline. He has not had number one team in all of the American League with key holes, like really big holes. Like the 2023 one was like this juggernaut team that didn't really have like a lot of holes. Like it's kind of like they wanted to add like a piece here, like to kind of put it over the top. But like there's like pieces to upgrade that they kind of need to upgrade. They kind of need to make moves. But like we don't know exactly what the situation is. And like, yeah, you trade for Adley Rushman. Maybe that is an extension target. Like maybe that isn't like, I think we have a lot of things that like we know about the Rays that we don't necessarily know about the Rays.
Yeah, and I think and a couple other differences from this year is, you are the clear favorite in the American League. It is new owners, and the last time you were the clear favorite and killing it. It was 2020, or I shouldn't say the last time, because 2021 you were the best team in the American League at the deadline as well. I think you were in the mix for a lot of big deals, and you didn't pull them off. Now you have the new owners. Now, even when you're at the top, like your biggest threat in the American League is the Yankees, and they're dealing with major injury problems right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like you are going into the postseason if your pitching is healthy. Even right now, like you can beat anyone in the American League. You're also not really fighting to get in the postseason. You're at like 98% by some projections to make the postseason. You're a little over 50% to probably even more today now that your lead in the division is 3.5 games to win the AL East and get an automatic buy into the ALDS. That's another thing that wasn't around in 2021. The postseason was only 10 teams. So if you won the wild card, you were in a 1-game playoff. Now you get a bye and you get into the last 8. You don't have to play that first wild card round. The variance drops a little bit when you skip the best of 3 and go into the best of 5. And so you are looking for players that are going to help you win those best of 5 and best of 7 series. You're not looking for the players like we talk about Tarik Skubal. Oh, you're paying so much to get 2 months of Tarik Skubal. Well, you don't even need Tarik Skubal to get to the postseason. The way you're playing right now, you don't need Tarik Skubal to win the division. You need Tarik Skubal in October The players you're trading for now are not, ooh, can we get a player and help us make a push into the postseason? No, you are the perennial team. Like, you are the team in the American League this year. You're looking for players that are going to help you win those games in October. That's where I look at a Luis Arias. Does he help? Sure. Makes the lineup better immediately. Is he a player that's going to make a difference in October? That much of a difference? Is he a player that's going to come up with 2 men on and just hit a 3-run bomb and break open a game in the ALDS, and all of a sudden you go up 2 games to nothing? That's where the Skubals of the world are. Again, there are other players I think that help that aren't Skubal. Like there's a happy medium here. There are other players out there. There are names and teams that maybe, as the weekend goes on, they decide, you know what, we need to sell a little bit more. The market's also changed, though, because with the expanded postseason, nobody wants to give up on their team right now. Everyone's within 4.5 games back of a wild card spot, it feels like. There's a few key teams, I think, that you can maybe try to pick apart their rosters. The Royals being one, I think. The Blue Jays, I think, is another team. It's in division, but I feel like there could be a deal done there. The Marlins are open for business, even though they're in the mix. I think Pete Bendix is willing to trade. So I don't know. We have no idea how this is going to go. There's also the looming lockout. So we don't really know the calculus for that.
We really don't.
I think most teams are going to operate as if it's business as usual. Except for the Dodgers, who have this like nihilist, like, we're just going to get Skubal. We don't care. Who cares if we play next season if we win 3 straight World Series titles? That seems like a problem for the other 29 teams. We can take a year off. Our pitchers probably need a year off, so we're just going to win this one and see you guys in 2028. But yeah, that's kind of my take on the Rays deadline. We didn't even get to relievers. I don't know if there's like any relievers I would specifically say. We're already over an hour and a half, other than like the Rays are going to get at least 1 reliever, probably 2.
Yeah.
One of them might be a guy that you've heard of. One of them probably won't be. I wrote some names down, but like there's no guessing who the Rays are looking at.
Pick for relievers, just because they are very important and the Rays kind of need them. Like, pick one reliever you really like. It could be a name, could be a not a name that you would love to see the Rays come away with.
Yeah, so the one name I've been looking at right now is Michael Peterson. He's been pitching in some higher leverage situations in the Marlins bullpen. He is 6'7", British pitcher with a 97 mile an hour fastball. He's 4-seam slider. Does have a little changeup. It's not great, but it's there, and the Rays might be able to tap into that.
Maybe.
He's tall. He's big. He throws hard. I feel like this is a Rays kind of target. He's 32 years old. Actually, the stuff plus on the changeup is 100. That's pretty good. 113 stuff plus on the fastball, 116 stuff plus on the slider, 103 location plus. I don't know. He's an older pitcher, but he's only in his 3rd big league season. He has been really good for the Marlins this season.
I like that. I think for me, Rays go big, but not like Mason Miller big, not like Josh Hader big. They go after somebody that's next to Mason Miller, and I would love to see them grab Adrian Morejon. Former starter, long time ago, been a reliever the last few years, been really, really good as a reliever. The fastball velo is up. Like, he is somebody that you can get like a multi-inning appearance out of. You can get that bridge, and it's another lefty. I think that's the one interesting thing is like you have Boozer and you have Clevenger, and so like, do you really want to add another lefty? Like, Morejon is like immediately becomes your 2nd best reliever behind Baker. Kind of 1A, 1B type of thing there. I think in October, you really need like a high-end bullpen. You need guys that you can really rely on. I think Kevin Kelly has been excellent. I think Cam Boozer's been excellent. Um, Brian Baker's been incredible. I don't know if I'm like fully trusting Kevin Kelly as my second best option or Cam Boozer as my second best option. I really want to get one more guy in that range. So give me Adrian Morahone, give me Michael Peterson too. Like give me both, right? Let's raise the floor in the middle range and let's get another like horse so that like once you get to like the seventh inning, you know, one out, two out, like suddenly that could be Morahone Baker and you're out of there. Like you want to basically put teams into that range where like your starter's going 5 really strong. Then you can be like, do I get another inning for my starter? But the back end is 8, 9, maybe a little bit into the 7 is locked down. So you're now working with like 4 to 6 outs to try to get from anybody else. That's where you want to be in October. So I would love to see that. And you got, you know, Manny Rodriguez is coming back, but coming back from a major injury. How much are you going to get from him? Edwin Uceda, he's pretty much out for the season, it looks like. Steven Wilson, he's alive, apparently, and pitching. You don't know what you're getting from there. You do kind of need, this is, you know, the deadline's tough. There's a lot of relievers sent. They cost a lot of money. But this is where that Rule 5 surplus of guys where like you cannot fit them all, this is where you consolidate them into some interesting arms. And the Rays, this is an area, you know, the Rays have maybe not landed those big fish before. The Rays have maybe been the bridesmaid on a lot of big trades, but they have landed a lot of very, very good relievers at the deadline. We have seen it with Nick Anderson. We have seen it with Robert Stevenson, old Bob Steve. We've seen like these interesting pieces added in and collected. Heck, we saw it last year with Brian Baker. It didn't work out last year, but it sure is working out this year. I think Neander's got a couple more of those aces up the sleeve.
Yeah, I agree. There's gonna be some trades. There's gonna be the Rays. I think are usually like we think they're gonna go one way, they're going the other. The discussions they're having, while everyone's focused on the Scoobles of the world, there's so many other trade talks going on that we're not privy to, and then you get a deal like Taj Bradley for Griffin Jacks at the buzzer
Right.
last summer. So we'll see. This is a big episode. One of the longest episodes we've done in a while here on the show, but I think it was a really good one. We covered a lot of topics and a lot of names. So maybe one or a couple will be in Rays uniforms by the next time you hear from us. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of Raise Your Voice. Thank you guys for listening. We've been live on youtube.com/@RaiseYourVoice, and we're also available wherever you get your podcasts. As always, make sure to head on over to draysbay.com to check out that great Rays coverage. Once again, thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next week.